Anna Gette, aka Tygapuss, is a singer and songwriter based in Germany. Her music can be described as poetic songs in the genres pop rock and alternative rock influenced by soul, with punk attitude. As an artist, she uses lyrics to remind others who feel alone that they are not alone in that feeling.
What's your name? Where are you from? These are two very common questions that many ask when they first meet someone. Now, that first question you don't mind, Anna. It's the second question that you secretly, well, now not so secretly, hate. Why do you hate when someone asks where you're from?
Well, I understand that people ask this question out of curiosity, but it also has the potential to trigger the feeling of not belonging. When I grew up, I was an immigrant child, and I really worked hard on learning the new language, on fitting in. And whenever somebody asked me where are you from, I was like, oh, the work I put in, it wasn't enough. My accent is still be heard, and people recognize that I'm strange, that I'm not from here. And then I felt ashamed that I was a stranger. This question triggered the feeling of not belonging again and again. And even today, when someone asks me this question, I feel uncomfortable still. Because to me, it's not, they ask it of interest. To me, it's like they ask it because they still recognize something in my face or something in the way that I talk that's strange to them. And then I feel like an alien, like an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I just thought about it. I actually would like to know how a society would evolve, how it would grow, if we just left this question out in the getting to know process, in the first phase of getting to know each other. Because I think that all these nationality boxes that we created, they are just in the way of getting to know the personality. And I think we could then focus more on the personality and the character of the person that's in front of us.
Yeah, no, I love that. Absolutely. So let's talk about a particular moment, particular time in your life. When arriving at an airport, many are greeted with welcome signs, and this was not the case for you when you arrived at an airport in Germany as an immigrant. If you would please share the story of what was written for you when you arrived.
Yeah, it was 1993, and we came to Germany from Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan was then a part of the former Soviet Union, and so we spoke the Russian language. I was 8 years old, and we stood there at the German airport, and for me it was, wow, a Western, modern, new world, great. It was the place where I ate my first banana in my whole life and was blown away by the new sweet taste, and I wanted to get out and get to know the country and just be there. And then our suitcase came back, and we recognized there was something written on the suitcase, and it was, "Go back, you shitty Russians." And even when I was a child, but I felt what these words meant. I felt the people didn't want me here. I wasn't welcome in a place where I really wanted to belong to so much. And so I went from happy to sad in one moment.
Yeah, certainly something that you'll never forget. So let's, that goes in perfectly to this next question, and it's about your song. So your song, Alien Girl, it speaks to how you feel as an immigrant. And I love this song in the way that you pour yourself into these lyrics that seem to be just saturated with the sense of being always outside looking in. In this song, you repeatedly ask this question: how does it feel to belong? So I'd love for you to share two stories here, Anna. Love to hear about a time when you felt you belonged the least, and then also about a time when you felt you belonged the most.
Well, there was a time there was a story I remember when I felt I belonged the least, so I was really outside. I was 10 years old and I already spoke German. I already could talk to the children in school, and this was a big success for me because in the beginning I didn't understand a word. And we moved from one German town to another, and so I had to change the school, and I was the new one in a new class. And when I came in, the teacher, she wanted me to introduce myself, and she said, please tell your name and say where you're from. And because I didn't want the children to see me as a stranger, because I wanted to avoid that they see me as the Russian kid, I said, my name is Anna and I'm from Grafenwöhr. And this was the town I lived in before, the German town. And the teacher looked at me and she asked me, are you sure that you are from Grafenwöhr? And I said, yes, I am, because I really wanted to avoid that problem. And the next day, the same teacher came into the class, and the first thing she said was, so, I found out that Anna lied to you yesterday. Of course, she's not from here. She is from Kazakhstan. And she said it in this tone. There was a tone in her voice, like it was so dominant. And I felt like I did something really wrong. I got that vibe from her, like, how dare you say you're from here? You're not. How dare you say you're German? You're not one of us. And I felt like she didn't like me because I was from another country.
Right.
Yeah, that was really the thing I didn't want. But she made the problem come up again. So I was a stranger in the class then.
Wow. And that's just incredible that she would make a point to do that, to say that, to call you out that way. I don't understand as to why she would be. Yeah.
It was strange because she was a teacher. And previously I had really good experiences with nice teachers, but she was not one of them.
Again, I feel you. I feel your song so much. Stories like these that really help people understand why you sing what you do. And let's move on to a happier moment. When did you feel, Anna, that you felt you absolutely belonged?
That was a story when I went to a concert of a singer I really loved. I was 17 years old. And I was there previous to the show. I was there before. I went into a bar and there he and his band sat. They hanged out there and I was like, wow. And then I walked by them and stared at them like a stalker fan. So they could not ignore me. And then they said, hey, come over, and who are you? And we had a nice conversation about music. And I told him that I really loved this album. I loved all his songs and I could sing them all. And then the concert took place and I was in the crowd. And in the middle of the concert, he spoke into the mic and he said my name. And he asked me to come up on stage and sing with him. I was very surprised and totally excited about it, but I got up on stage, and when I was on that stage and I sang with him and I saw the band and I saw the audience, that was one moment where I really felt like I was at home, like this was a place I belonged to. And then I think on this stage right there in this moment I made a choice. I want to be a professional singer. I want to have a band. I want to be on stage because that's my place. And this was a very nice feeling.
Wow, I can only imagine. And the smile that you're sharing right now, I'm sure, is the same one that you wore that very night. Wow. What an incredible moment. What a beautiful way to find where you belong. And so that's what you did. You became a music artist. So while you are a solo artist alone with your mic, does being part of the music industry, does that help you feel connected to other artists, to your audience? Does music help that feeling of belonging then for you now?
Yes, I think every one of us had that moment where we felt that music has this power to connect people, and musicians know about this power. They have felt it for years and years, and the most musicians I have met were very open-minded people, funny, and they were very, very welcoming, because I think the music connected us right away. It didn't matter where we're from, how old we were, how we looked. Yeah, I wasn't on stage for a long time, but I want to be on stage again, because I remember this pure energy that always comes from the audience, and it's really great. In 2017, I was standing in the crowd of an Aerosmith concert, and there were 20,000 people, and I remember that I was standing and I felt I was bathing in love. And to know this ability that we humans have to feel happy and to express this happiness together is the most beautiful thing that we humans can create. And I think that music can only put that up to a higher level. So music for me is about connection, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's amazing. And like you say, that it's not just, what you hear, and it's what you feel, and that music has this ability to speak in ways that no other language can, and that we all get it and we all feel it. So I guess one more question for you today is this. It's for those who are trying to find themselves. They're trying to figure out where they fit in this world. What advice would you have for them, Anna?
Well, usually the ones who don't fit in, they feel like outsiders, and they become the outsider because there's something in them, something about them that's different. And they get this message from society: you are different, you're a flaw, you're a mistake. And they start to believe it. But I actually would recommend to look at this thing that makes you different, to look at this thing that makes you stand out from the crowd, to focus on it and to embrace it, because oftentimes this thing is your superpower. And many don't know that. And so instead of desperately trying to fit in, instead of desperately following the mass and wanting to be like everybody else, get to know yourself first. Because I think if you know about the thing that makes you different, it will show you the way to the people you belong to the tribe who understands you. And this is an understanding on a much deeper level than the superficial mass following. And I think you will be happier in the end if you just accept yourself as an outsider and embrace it.
No, that's a wonderful, wonderful advice. So for people who need to know more about you, who want to know more about you, so your name, Anna Gette, yes, but you go by a different name, which is?
My artist name is Tygapuss.
Awesome. And so people can find you online, searching that way on YouTube, on Instagram. And I must say, everyone must hear this song of yours. It's absolutely incredible, super powerful. And I feel it right here. And appreciate you so much for taking this time to share your story, to share your song, and for helping all of us become a bit more aware now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Allié.